So now in this video we will learn about data types in C programming. So what is data types? Data types means the types of data. Mainly the data types are two types in C. The first one is primary data types and the second one is secondary data types. So first of all, try to understand the primary data types. There is a table given over there. These are the list of primary data types that are available in C language. So here the first one is integer. So what is integer? Integer means all the integer type value, the like 1, 2, 3, 100, 1000, 2000, 5000, 1 lakh. These are the integer type of data type. So we all know these are integers, so the keyword will be int. And the size that will take in the memory for a 32-bit system will be 2 byte, and the format specifier will be %d. So now you may not understand what is the meaning of this keyword or what is the meaning of this format specifier. I will tell everything. Keyword means to declare one integer type data type, we have to write int in our C program. Like if we want to print something in the output, so at that time we have to write printf. Like that, if we want to declare one integer data type, at that time we have to write int in our C program. And the size will be 2 byte. Like you are using 32-bit system, at that time in the memory for one integer type variable it will take 2 bytes. So instead of 32-bit, if you are using 64-bit system, at that time the integer will take 4 byte of memory. And the format specifier will be %d. %d is mainly used to print one integer type variable. So I will discuss everything when I will just teach you the variable, the concept of variable. Now only understand that integer means all integer type value like 1, 2, 3, 4, all this kind of value, and it takes 2 byte memory for a 32-bit system. The next one is float data type. So what is float? Float means point value, all the decimal value like 1.1, 2.1, 5.5, 10.1. These all are the float type of variable. Float. So the keyword what we have to write in our code at the time of declaring this float variable is float, and in memory for a 32-bit system it will hold 4 byte of memory. And to print this in the output we have to write %f. And the next one is double. Double is double of float. Like if we want to store a very big decimal value number inside a float which will take more than 4 byte, at that time it will not be possible to store inside a float variable. So at that time we will use double. The keyword is double, and in the system it takes 8 byte of memory. And format specifier will be %lf. So what is the meaning of this lf? L for large and f for float. Here for float I use f, and this is large float, that is double. So there is not really very difference in between float and double. Float is just for 4 byte or small decimal value, and the double is for 8 byte like large point value. And the next one is character. Like here we can store a b c d in caps lock or in small lock or any kind of special character like @ percentile, everything this we can store inside this character type of variable. And the character in the memory it will take 1 byte, and to print character in the output of C program, at that time we have to write this %c. And void is nothing. Like if we don't want to declare any kind of data type, if just I want to create one data type but I will not declare anything, like it will be integer or float or double or character, if we don't want to declare this, at that time we have to write this void, and the keyword will be void. Everything is small letter, and there is no size because void is like non-type of data, so this will not hold any kind of memory, and there is no format specifier. So these all are the primary data type in our C language. And the next one is secondary data type. In secondary data type there is array, there is pointer, structure, union. This every concept I will discuss one after another. So now I will just leave all these 4 concepts. After few videos I will discuss all and everything. Now just compare these data types with a real life example. What is the work of this data type? Suppose This is bag number 1, this is bag number 2, and this is bag number 3, or box 1, box 2, box 3. This box 1 is very big, this box 2 of medium size, this box 3 is of small size. And this is ball number 1, this is ball number 2, this is ball number 3. I want to keep this ball number 1 inside this big box. This is a big ball, so I just want to keep this big ball inside this big box. So it very easily we can store this ball inside this big box. But if we want to keep this ball inside this medium size of box, at that time it will not be possible, because this is a very big ball. It will not hold by this second box or medium size box. At that time, if we want to forcefully insert this ball inside this box, at that time we have to cut some portion of this ball, and then we can just insert into this medium. Like that, this second ball we can insert in the second box, and the third ball we can insert into the third box. But this third ball is very small, so I can just keep this third ball inside this first big box, and also we can keep this third ball inside this second box, and also third in third box. So this third ball can be kept in all the three boxes. The second ball can be kept in first and second box, and the first ball only contain this first box. So this is the main concept of data type. So integer means 1 2 3 4 5, this kind of integer value. So I can just keep 5 integer value inside a float. Float will be 5.0, but float can hold integer type variable, or the double can hold float type of variable, because float is for small value and double is for large value. So the large value easily can hold the small value, because here the large box can hold all the three box. Here think that double is the large box, so large box can hold all integer, float, double, everything will be hold in this large box. But integer is this small type of box, so here we just can't put double type of like big type of value or like that. If we put one float value like 10.1 inside this integer, at that time in integer only 10 will be stored, 0.1 will be totally mixed up. This is the concept of integer, float and double. So now if you remember that their character only take 1 byte memory in 32-bit system. So in the next slide I will show you what is the range of character, what is the value of character I can store inside this character value. So try to remember that character takes only 1 byte. So here in the next slide you can see that character takes 1 byte of memory. Here 1 byte means 8 bit. We all know that 1 byte means 8 bit. For 1 bit I can just represent 0 and 1. So for 1 bit there are 2 value can be possible. So for 8 bit there are 2 to the power 8 value can be possible. And the range will be from -128 to 127. So now you may ask, from 2 to the power 8, how I get -128 to 127. So suppose this is a character, and character takes 1 byte. That means it is 8 bit. What is the meaning of 1 bit? 1 bit means it can be 0 or it can be 1. 2 bits mean it can be 0 0, it can be 0 1, it can be 1 0, it can be 1 1. 3 bits mean it can be 0 0 0, it can be 0 0 1, it can be 0 1 0, it can be 0 1 1 and 1 0 0, and in this way it's up to 1 1 1. If it's 4 bit, then 0 0 0 0 4 0, then 0 0 0 1. In this way it will run up to 4 1. So in this way, this is suppose for 1 bit, this is for 2 bit, this is for 3 bit, this is for 4 bit, this is for 4 bit. But if we take 8 bit, at that time what will happen? It will take 8 0 and then it will go up to 8 1. So this is the range of value. So what is 8 0 or what is 8 1? So from 0 8 ones, that means it will take 256 value. From this 8 1, the value of this 8 1 is 256 in decimal. So here one character, that means 1 byte can store 1 byte, that means 8 bit can store 256. value. But here one user can give negative value because here I am just calculating the positive one from 0 to 256. So if I want to also calculate the negative value at that time, what we have to do? We have to take from minus 128 to 127. So now you may ask from why 128, why 127? So we have totally 256 space. So if I want to take negative value and also as well as the positive value at that time, I will just divide this 256 with 2. So if I divide this 256 with 2, it will give the result 128. So now the negative value will be minus 128 and the positive value will be 127. Now you may ask why 127? It may be 128 because from minus 128 to 128. No, it will not be 128. It will be 127 because at the middle minus 128 it will go up to minus 1 and this is 1 to it will go 127, but at the middle there is also one another, that is 0. 0 which we have not calculated. So minus 128 to minus 1, that is 128, and 0 to 127, that is 128. So for that reason it is starting from minus 128 and ending with 127, not 128, because 0 is there in the middle. So now you can understand what is the range of character. The character range is minus 128 to 127. So in the same way, the range of integer is 2 bytes, so it will take 16 bits. So 2 to the power 16, the range will be minus 2 to the power 15 minus 1 to plus 2 to the power 15. So in this way, character and integer or float or double hold the value. So now I hope you can understand what is data type. So now variable. So what is variable? Variable are used to store value inside a computer memory, and it is an entity that may vary its value during the program execution is called variable. So let's try with an image. So this is one image. Suppose this is the computer memory. Here I have just blocked one block and give the name as name. Suppose I just want to store this 10 value inside a variable, or I just want to store this 10 value inside our computer memory. At that time what I will do? I have to first of all give the variable a name. Suppose this is name. So I have to write name equals to 10. Suppose I just want to 10 inside the name variable in our computer memory. So at that time what I have to do? I have to give the name of the variable. Suppose here the name of the variable is name. Instead of name I can just write suppose x. The value of x is 10. So I have write x and then x equals to 10. So this is, I have declared one variable and I assign the value 10 with this variable. But the computer memory will not be able to recognize what type of variable is this 10. So for that reason I have to give the data type's name over there. So I have to just here write integer, that means this 10 is the integer type of variable. Then I have to give the variable name, that is x, and then 1 equals to sign and then 10, and after end of the line, that is semicolon. So this is the format by which we can just store one value in our computer memory at the time of execution of the program. So here in the code blocks I will just go there in file and then new empty file, and I will just save it in the location C program, and here the name will be variable, suppose .c. Don't forget to give the extension. Save. So here we will write our C code. So first of all hatch include stdio.h and then void main. Sorry, we can give the second bracket in the same line, or in the next line we also can give. So here how to declare one variable? So first of all I have to give the name of the variable. So here I have just give x equals to, suppose I just want to store 10. But this is not one variable declaration. Before one variable, I have to declare what is the type of that variable. That means here this 10 is integer type of variable. So for that reason, I have to first write int, then x equals to 10. If we want to declare one float variable, so I have to write float, and then suppose I want to give the name y equals to 1.5, and then semicolon. So in this way we can declare variable x and y. So x is integer type of variable, y is float type of variable, and then suppose I just want to print something, so print hello world, and then semicolon. So to run, first of all compile it, it's compiling, there is no error, and then run it. So you can see that hello world is printed and there is no error. So I am crossing it, and here x is one integer type variable, the value assigned to it is 10. Y is a float type of variable, the value assigned to 1.5. Now suppose you want to print this 10 value in the output. So what will you do? You will just write printf, then inside invited comma percentile d, and then x. So this is the format by which you can print one integer type variable in the output. So first of all, this is the sign, compilation and run both will be at the same time. Now you can see that at the output 10 is printed, then hello world is printed. Now what is happening here? Here inside this percentile d, this value of x will be replaced. If we just write, instead of this percentile d, if we write x, at that time if we run this, compile it and run it, at that time you can see x hello world is printed. This x is treated as it, I just want to print this x in the output, but I just not want to print it, I just want to print the value of x. So for that reason, this is the format specifier, that is percentile d for integer I have just taught you, and then x. So if we compile it and run it, now again you can see that 10 is printed. So after this 10, if we want to print this 1.5, at that time what I will do, I suppose copying it and the next line pasting it. So here if we write y, it will not be printed correctly. Run it, compile it, so it's printing 10, and for this y it's printing 0 and then hello world. Why this problem? Because this y is one float type of variable. For float we just can't give the format specifier as percentile d, we have to give percentile f for the float. Now if we compile and run, now you can see 10 is printed because 10 is the value of x, then the value of y is 1.5, that is 1.5000, that is 1.5, then hello world is printed. Now if you don't understand it, you want to print in everything in new line, at that time you have to give one command, that is /n and /n. /n what will do, it will just go into the next line. So if we now compile and run it, now you can see 10 is the first line, 1.5.000 equal 1.5.000, these all are the second line, and hello world is in the third line. So I am just dropping this line, compile it and run it. So the value of x is 10 and the value of y is 1.5. Now suppose you want to print x equals to 10, this whole. So what you have to do, before percentile d I will write x equals to, and here I will write y equals to, and if we compile it and run it, now you can see x equals to 10 and y equals to 1.5.0, that is printed. So how it's working? So first of all, printf x equal to percentile d, so x equal to will be printed at the time of percentile d, the value of x will be copy pasted over there. In the second line, at the time of percentile f, the value of y will be copy pasted over there. So in this way it's work. Suppose what you want to print this both in the same line. So what you have to do, you have to do x equal to percentile d and y equals to percentile f, and then here I give one percentile d and one percentile f. So two value will be required. So first one will be x and the second one will be y. So in the sorry, there will be closing bracket. So now you can see x equals to 10 and y equals to 1.5, that is printed. So if you want to print x equals to 10 and in the next line it will be y equal to 1.5, at that time what we have to do? After that we have to just put one slash n. What will we do? By this slash n it will create one new line, and in the next line, first line, x equals to percentile d, that means 10, and y equals to percentile f, that means 1.5. Now you may see that before this y there is one space is there. Why this space? Because before slash n we have just give one space. If we remove this, I am just removing the space and then compile it and run it. Now you can see x equals to 10, and in the next line slash n is responsible for the next line, and then y equals to 1.5. In this way we can print one variable. Suppose I just want to initialize one character type variable. So what I have to do? I have to write char. Suppose I am giving the name z. Z equals to I am giving a. So a is the character. I just want to store this a inside this character variable, but it will give an error because this 10 is a integer type variable is stored in x, 1.5 is float variable is stored in y. But at the time of character, at that time we have to give inverted comma denote this is a character. So now z is a character. After suppose percentile f, I just giving one new line, and after new line I just want to print the value of z. So I will write z equals to, and for character, to print character I have to give percentile c, and after y I am giving z. So if we compile it and run it, now you can see that x equals to 10, and then next line y equals to 1.5.000, and then z equals to a. So if we change the value a to b, and if we compile and run it, now you can see the value of z is b. So in this way, very easily we can just store any kind of value inside a variable and we can just print it. Now I can just first of all declare one variable, and then I can assign the value. What is happening? Suppose I am deleting this line, and here I will write int a and then semicolon. So here I am not giving any value to a. Then in the next line I can write a equals to 10, and then in the next line suppose I just want to print the value percentile d, and then a. One semicolon will be there at the end. Compile it and run it. So what error is telling? Printf. So there will be print f. So now compile and run it. Now 10 is printed. If we don't assign the value, I have just declared, and at the time I am printing it. So what the output will give? It will give 0 at the out as the output, because I have just not assigned any value over there. Instead of 10, so I have just giving 100 over there, and if we just compile it and run it, you can see 100 is printed. So in this way we can just declare variable in another line and assign the value in another line. So we have just given a lot of variable names, and we have just run our program, but at the time of naming of a variable we need to follow some rules. So those are: first rule is a variable name could be formed using any combination of 1 to 26 alphabet in English language and 0 to 9 decimal digit, and also underscore. This is one special symbol. We can just give this. The first character in the variable name must be an alphabet or underscore. It can't be digit. No commas or blanks are allowed within a variable name, and no special symbol other than underscore can be used in a variable name. So let's try to understand this. So first of all, the variable name can be any kind of A to Z and 0 to 9. So I am giving one name, suppose number. Number is a variable name. I can just give number 1, or I can give number 5. These are some common variable names we can give. And then we also can use number, suppose 7. This is also one valid variable name, because inside we can give one underscore. But if we want to start our variable name with some any digit, suppose number, this is not one valid variable name. So suppose I'm all the invalid name I am keeping in right side. Then the next one, that is I can just start the variable name with underscore, suppose abc1. This is one valid variable name. Then we can just give any name like a, this is one valid variable name, but we can't just give any space in between the variable name. Suppose I am giving a variable name number. In this way I just can't give one variable name. There should not be any space in between the characters of the variable. And the last one is no special symbol rather than the underscore is allowed. So I can give this underscore at the beginning, at the middle, at the end, anywhere we want. So I can give the variable name, suppose number underscore. This is one valid variable name. Everything I can give underscore anywhere. We can give these letters or characters anywhere, but we can't give these numbers at the beginning, because here this is one wrong variable. In this way we can just give any kind of variable name, but here I will suggest you to give one proper naming of a variable. Suppose you just want to store one number inside a variable, at that time you will give the variable name as number. Suppose you want to store someone age inside a variable, at that time you will give the variable name as age equals to suppose 30. In this way we will give the variable name, where after reading the name of the variable, the purpose of the variable will be clear to us. So in this way we can give any name of the variable. So these two are the wrong variable name. So I hope you can understand the whole concept of variable and data types in C. If you have any kind of problem, you can comment out your problem. Thank you.